What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video. Here back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode episode 13, and today is time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, the last race before the summer break. If you haven't watched the previous episode, I highly recommend to go check it out. We have a bunch of things to do before hitting the track at the Hungarian, which is a track that I'm not a fan. It doesn't provide that much good racing in real life, but in the game it provides, but I'm not a fan of the track nonetheless. We're going to put old components of our power unit because this is a track that doesn't require straight line speed. It's as known as the Monaco without barriers. The only big straight that we have is the start-finish straight, and it's not one of the biggest of the calendar. So we're going to take the sacrifice this weekend. I'm not expecting big things, but we'll see what he can do on Hungary, and we are just putting some things on the agenda. And today we're going to change the livery of the car for the second time this season, and I believe this is going to be the last change. And then in season 2 is going to be a skin made by me, just me doing a mod, but there is I decided to go with this one, a little bit of red and black as always, since the first episode of My Team Career Mode, and then I decided to put a little bit of pink on the back because I'm a big fan of pink. I tried purple because I like purple as well, but it didn't fit that well, so I decided to go with this kind of pink that is a reddish pink, I can say. And we're going to change our suit as well. I'm excited to go with a splattered suit because it looks so good, and I think it's going to look good once we sit on the car. We're going to change the gloves to the splattered as well, and this is going to be our kit for the rest of the season, unless there's a new skin with the Series 2 podium pass that I decided to change for the final time in this season 1. And we're going to buy an upgrade for our headquarters. It's going to be for the chassis department, and it's going to be an upgrade for the build time. So this is going to make that the upgrades are going to come much earlier. So like I said, we're making a lot of things before hitting the track at the Hungarian. We have an upgrade for the aero ready to the start of this Grand Prix, so definitely is going to help us out, especially in the aero, where is a part that is vital around this track. And basically that's pretty much it, and we're ready to hit the track. But before going into the weekend, we have a bunch of resource points. We're going to buy a major upgrade, and it's going to be ready at 7th of September. So I want to say that is going to be ready maybe for Singapore. That would be come in handy pretty beautifully, because Singapore requires a lot of downforce. But here we are on the garage on our headquarters at the Hungarian, and we're going to see the performance shot. We have two major upgrades being developed to our car. In the terms of performance shot, we pulled away a little bit of Williams and not making that much gains to the midfield, and Racing Point was getting closer and closer to Red Bull. So maybe this is the stage of the season where we can start to see some major changes in the performance shot, and that's the beauty of career mode. But here we are on qualifying. Pace on practice has been pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to score some good points before the summer break. But heading into turn 1 in Q1, first corner of qualifying, not that good. The exit, a little bit of a squirm as I hit the curve and try to open the DRS as early as I can. The exit of the first corner is kind of tricky because you already have the DRS open and you still have to feed the throttle, so it makes the back end kind of unstable, but it is a kind of a tricky corner. It's more harder than it looks like. But through the final corner, a bit of understeer, make sure to use all the track that you can, and at the moment is a 1:16.6. It was an absolutely dreadful lap because I made a lot of mistakes, and they always happen. There's always a lot of time left on the tail, but now the track has more rubber, and we're going to find some time. Some guys are exiting the pits, which is not ideal at all. Once again, oversteer through the first corner, and we're getting some beautiful slipstream of one of the Renaults, and that make us gain maybe half a tenth of a second. But for the time being, we're gaining 1/10 of a second as we are getting a little bit tempted on that long right hand or that long left and right hander. As we go through the fast left hander, make sure to hit the apex. It's really important to carry the best speed as you can. This corner is really important to not lose the back end as we go through the chicane of this track. It is third gear, it can be fourth maybe in time trial, not entirely sure, but third gear is the way to go for me. A bit wide here. This is the part of the track where I struggle the most. I'm carrying a high downforce setup for this weekend, so a 1 power unit, a high downforce setup is going to be really tricky once we hit the start finish rate on Sunday, because it's going to be really hard if you want to make any overtakes, even with the help of the DRS and the overtake button. Through the final couple of corners, 4/10 up, so it's going to be a nice improvement. But will it be enough to get us into Q2? At the moment we are in P19, and yes, it is 5/10 up across the line, and for the time being we are in P15, and we can be in Q2 Q2 at the Hungarian Grand Prix. That was kind of expected. Now we drop into P16, but I think that's pretty much it. I think we're going to get into Q2, P16. We were just on the cusp to getting knocked out, but a little bit of understeer, as you could see in the last corners, because tire temperatures around here, once you hit the second sectors, those fast corners, the tire temperatures are going to shoot up and you're going to suffer a lot of understeer. So it's a thing that we have to be really careful once we hit the race, once we start the race, I should say. But there is P16. I think we got through. We out-qualified Roman Grosjean in P17 by just 6 thousandths of a second, so that was pretty crazy to see. But now Q2, dreadful lap, even worse than our first lap in Q1, 117.6. I made a lot of mistakes, and as you can see at the end of the first sector we have 4 tenths up, so definitely there is a lot of time left on the table. I'm not entirely sure if I run with tires from Q1, I'm not entirely sure, but that was a dreadful lap, and as you can see, the proof of that, we're in P16. Valtteri Bottas was previously in P13 because he was trying to get into Q3 on the medium tires, but we lost a little bit the back end through the last corner like in the last episode, but we crossed the line. I think we improved by 4 tenths of a second, and he's going to be P16 at the start of the race. So like we happened in the last episode at Silverstone, we crashed on the exit of the last corner at the end of qualifying, so that was pretty funny to see. But I was saying Valtteri Bottas was in danger to be knocked out, but he was trying to qualify in the mediums, but then he set a time on the softs. But despite making that mistake, if I didn't make that mistake, it would be P16 anyway. So and that was pretty impressive to see that I didn't have any damage after that impact, so it was kind of impressive. But I think I can call this a positive qualifying, considering that the power unit that we're having this weekend and we got in Q2, I think I'm pretty happy. So without further ado, let's go to the race, the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaro Ring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. They must be starting to feel the pressure at this point, Ant. Surely. There's a real shot at the title on the cards here, but one error at the wrong time, well, that could throw it all away.
Of course, there's never a good time to make mistakes, but it will feel 10 times worse if it happens at such a critical point of the season. Let's hope this contest is settled where it should be, on track, wheel to wheel.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Perez, Sainz, Albon, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Kvyat, Norris, Daniel Ricciardo and Ocon, Magnussen, Thomas, Roman Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, De Vries, Latifi and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
After a very successful qualifying, we'll see what we can do in this race. So welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix, guys. Make sure to smash like, scratch, and if new team more F1 My Team career mode. And strategy-wise, going to be a one-stop, starting on the mediums and then switch to the hards. And for the guys starting on the softs, it seems more likely to be a two-stop. And I'm watching the guys on the top 10 and even in P11 because of Daniel Kvyat is starting on the softs. So this is going to be really tricky. The one-stop is really powerful around here, so we'll see if we can score points. This is going to be really hard as we're getting ready to the start of the last race before the summer break, the Hungarian Grand Prix. 5 red lights and away we go to the race, and it was a very good start, but then the second phase I had a lot of wheel spin against the Haas of Roman Grosjean. As we go into turn 1, we'll see if we can gain in some positions. We already, I think, we cleared the Haas. Now we are alongside Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault. We're going to try to giving a little bit of a squeeze out of turn 1, squeezing to the curve to reduce his traction, and we are at the moment in P14 at the end of basically a first corner as we go through the through the second turn of the circuit. Two cars going side by side. It is Esteban Ocon and the McLaren of Lando Norris. We're trying to thread the needle and try to get alongside of Lando Norris, but unfortunately is not enough, and we go a little bit wide at the exit of the fast right-hander, and but nonetheless we gain another position. We clear both Renaults, and now ahead of us I think Norris is with the soft tires. No, I think it is the guy that is ahead of Norris that is with the soft tires, so sooner or later he's going to start to suffer some tire wear, and hopefully we're going to be faster than him. I need to see. I think it is Daniel Kvyat in the AlphaTauri, so it seems more likely that he's in the 2-stop, which I think is a no-brainer considering that you're outside of the top 10, because I think the 1-stop is the best way to go, because you can lose so much time behind traffic, and you can see the case. One of the racing points is going really slow, and he's pulling into the pit, so definitely he has some front wing damage, and that is, I want to see, one of the racing points, and it is Lance Stroll, so maybe his race is coming to an early end because he's going to be absolutely nowhere, but he's going to be in clear, so I think is the best thing. But now skipping forward onto lap 13, starting to drop some time to Norris, so no surprise, my car is falling down to pieces when it comes to the parts of the power unit. You can see a red on my MFD. That's because of my engine component. So like I said, I decided to take the sacrifice in this weekend, and because I think I don't have that much to lose. Maybe I have a lot to win with this 1-stop, but we'll see as the laps go by, as we're setting personal bests at the end of lap 3. I don't have the DRS anymore, so it's going to be really hard to gain time on Norris, and both Renaults are getting closer and closer. I'm starting to feeling a little bit of pressure as I made a mistake on the second sector. I took too much outside curb, and that allowed to Daniel Ricciardo to basically sneak through and gain the free position, so that was a mistake for me. Starting to feel the pressure. I'm pushing as hard as I can, but I can't do anything in this Tom Motorsport car at the moment, and I'm going maybe to be a sitting duck once Esteban Ocon gets close. He's already in DRS range. I'm pushing as hard as I can to try to gain the position and to regain the position over Ricciardo, but look how much he stretches the gap out of the last corner, so definitely that is another league comparing with this Tom Motorsport car. But now there is Alexander Albon pitting very early, and he's going to dress a brand new set of medium tires, so there he is. Definitely it is in a 2-stop, and he's going to fit a new set once he finishes his first set of mediums. He's Hamilton as well in the same boat, and as well for the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. So my theory is basically confirmed here that the guys on the softs are going to the 2-stop, and this is Pierre Gasly, our rival. Is ahead of us at the moment as he was entering the pits, and he's going to be in a 2-stop. So maybe it would, if we finish ahead of Gasly, I think it would be an absolute win. But now Max Verstappen, as you could see, is fitting the hard tires, so Red Bull think that can you know, make the 1-stop work for Verstappen as well for McLaren with Carlos Sainz. So these two guys think they are capable to do a 1-stop by starting on the soft tires. So this can be a maybe Verstappen can win this Grand Prix. It depends of what Valtteri Bottas is going to fit in his Mercedes, because he's yet to pit, and this is what I was talking about early on in this Grand Prix. You can lose so much time with the guys that are on the mediums, because basically this is a Monaco without barriers. The only overtaking opportunity that you have is the start-finish straight. Apart from that, you can lose so much time, especially on the sector 2 with the dirty air. You're going to ruin your tires, and that can be the last nail on the coffin for your race, in order to get a good race result. But at the moment we are in P6. Obviously, that some guys ahead of us that started on softs are going to make already made their stops, because they started on a softer comparative tire, and Norris leads, followed by Ricciardo, and then myself in P3. So now a safety car would be coming handy, and this is Bottas, and he's in the same strategy as Verstappen. So Bottas is going to stay ahead of Verstappen. No, at the moment who's leading the race, apologies, I was seeing in the replay camera now, it is Charles Leclerc. So at the moment Charles Leclerc has the race in the bag, unless there is a safety car and changes up the field. A safety car at this moment, or in the few laps time, would be great for the guys that are in the medians, because that would mean a free pit stop, and that would mean maybe that we could be in P3 with everyone with their stops done. So a safety car that would really you know, come in handy. But lap 9, I'm pushing as hard as I can to keep up to really Ricciardo, which we're doing so, which is pretty impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Keeping with the Renault and the McLaren in this car, which is not in the best state, as I overshot the chicane, so just see how hard am I pushing. And this is Hamilton making a move on Esteban Ocon, and after Ocon it is going to be me. So Hamilton is going to storm his way through the field. But remember, at the moment he has the net lead, considering that the three of us on the podium at the moment are going to pit, but he has to pit as well. So who has the net lead? It is Charles Leclerc at the moment. So we skip forward on to lap 15. It's been a very calm stint. As I said, to back down a little bit, and I'm going to pit the lap earlier because Hamilton, I don't want to lose any time with Hamilton, and I don't want to get in this way because I don't want to lose race time. I think it's the last thing that you want to do, especially when you are in a one stop where you have to be in clear air and do consistent lap time. So I decided to let Hamilton go through. I think I was going to pit anyway in the next lap, so let's see if we can gain some time with the undercut over there and Ricardo. Hopefully we're not going to lose time with maybe with the Williams cars or even my teammate because he's way down the other at the moment in this race. And there he is going to dress a brand new set of hard tires, and we don't have to stop anymore in this race. So that's the plan, and we're going to get out in P8 at the moment. It seems that it's P8, P10, as we are side by side with the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel lost a lot of time in his second seat. He's losing at the moment as well for Max Verstappen as well. So Verstappen, despite being in a one stop, he can't clear these guys ahead of us, which are the Alfa Romeo and the Haas of Kimi Räikkönen and Kevin Magnussen as well. So these guys, and now this what I was talking about, even with a one stop, you can see Verstappen that is way down the other. So clearly clearing the guys that are faster than you is absolutely key around here, and you can see the perfect example. We did some consistent lap times on clear air on the mediums, and that resulted to be ahead of one of the Ferraris and one of the Red Bulls. So even the one stop is not efficient around here. You need to make the moves and not lose time. And considering that the DTR in this game is so much powerful, as we literally pushing Raikkonen and we were basically we were literally pushing Raikkonen into the penultimate corner. So just see how slow he was, and how slow it is Kevin Magnussen. So I need to clear him as fast as I can, and you can see Ricciardo already made his stop, and he's 3 seconds up ahead. So and Jovatkat work an absolute treat. He's already cleared the DRS, and Magnussen is being so annoying at the moment. Look how much he was, look how slow he was through the chicane, literally pushing him, and I'm getting a little bit furious because I'm risking to lose a bit of my front wing because I'm so close to the Haas, and I'm so impatient to clear this guy as early as I can. I'm doing actually personal best through the first sector, but now in the second sector we lost a lot of time, as you could see, as trying to go run outside of Magnussen, and that was a pretty sweet move on the Haas. And just see how much speed I carried through the fast right-hander, and then I had a shot. He was going defensive, so and I had a better tire confidence, and he is pitting. He's in the one stop like me, but he's so down the road. He's been absolutely nowhere, and Nick as well. He's been absolutely nowhere in these races. He's pitting as well, and at the moment it is P6. P6 in this Grand Prix, and remember that we don't have to pit anymore. Vettel has 2, and he's really close to us. He's like 4 tenths behind us, and basically he's within DRS range. So maybe this should be a piece of cake because it's a Ferrari engine, and we know that at the moment the Ferrari is overpowered in this game. But as you can see from Vettel's POV, I'm weaving all over the place trying to break up the toe, and at the moment it seems you could see in Vettel's POV that we're doing a massive job at the moment. But lap 21, Vettel already made his stop, his second and last stop of the day, and now behind us we have Verstappen, and I decided that I'm going to let Verstappen go because we're in the same strategy, and it's different cars. So I think I would be ruining my tires by defending the position over Verstappen. So I think this is the best decision, the best option. But Nick is out again. Oh, are you kidding me? Nick de Vries is out of the Grand Prix. His second DNF in a row. His second DNF he just made 2 races, and this is his second DNF. So at the moment, so far this season, he didn't see a checkered flag. Oh, and there he is. It's another engine failure. So 2 DNFs for Tom Motorsport. In 2 episodes, I think the alarms are going to start to appear, you know, in the factory, in the durability department. But yeah, there is the order. Maybe I should invest a little bit in the durability, but that's not the focus, because at the moment we're in the position to score points in this race. But now the safety car came to ruin everything, because now the pack is bunched up. We have basically the same tires comparing to the other ones, and someone behind us, the likes of Gasly for example, are in the mediums, and I have a very, very worn power unity, but we're getting ready to the restart. It wasn't that a good getaway. I hit the curb in the penultimate corner, I don't know, but we're ready to restart the Grand Prix with just 10 laps to go, if I'm not wrong. 12 laps to go, I should say, and we'll see what we can do. An awful exit out of the first corner, and this is going to allow Carlos Sainz to get a shot into turn 1, squeeze him to very aggressively to the inside line, and then I try to get a wide line as possible, but there is Sainz, and he gets a position. We're down into P8, and there's absolutely nothing that I can do. Esteban Ocon now is trying on the inside. Look at the speed against that Renault that I imagine that definitely has a much better power unity than mine at the moment. And yeah, Carlos Sainz already waltzed away, so it's going to be the last time that we're going to see as we're skidding all the way through the fast left-hander. So just see how them are pushing, try to at least get a little bit of DRS. But the lead at the moment, it is Charles Leclerc that leads the Grand Prix, as Valtteri Bottas made a mistake, as you could see, and he's in the hard tires, and Hamilton is on the mediums. Bottas bottled it like in real life, and Hamilton gets through pretty easily. And this is the thing that I like in this game, that DAI makes mistakes, and it was just a little bit of a back-end loss, but it was enough to Hamilton sail past around the outside in a much better medium tires. Those tires are basically have the same age, so definitely Hamilton is going to have the advantage, and sooner or later he would clear Bottas, I would say. But at the moment, lap 26, I'm doing all that I can. I'm actually maintaining a gap to Sainz, which is pretty impressive, but we skip all the way forward to lap 30, and the Sainz started to also away. He broke the DRS window, and that was pretty much it. But now we have to hold Esteban Ocon, and he's within DRS range, so we have to do everything, as we made a mistake once again, second mistake in this Grand Prix, and this is going to allow the other Renault, not this time is not Ricardo, it is Esteban Ocon that gets through, because once again I did a mistake with the Renault behind me. So I don't know what is about Renault behind me, but this should be a curse. And yeah, Ocon gets through, and we are demoted one more position, and we are just in P9, so we could be P8, because at the moment I was doing a great job by holding Ocon. I was just deploying ERS, the overtake button, exclusively in the start-finish straight. In the rest of the lap, I was deploying anything, because there's nothing that I can do in terms of overtaking. But now, last lap, I'm doing all that I can to gain this position on Esteban Ocon. You're going to join me for the last lap without cuts, and as you can see, I'm braking so hard into turn 1, try to gain everything and try to make try to force Ocon into a mistake, and I'm doing everything that I can. I'm pushing so hard, extract everything. I'm risking to have a DNF in this Grand Prix just to see how hard am I pushing at the moment. Vettel, as you can see, down into P11 with the medium tire, so definitely the two-stop didn't work for Vettel, but it's going to work for Charles Leclerc, that is going to win the Grand Prix. So this can mean big things, especially in the driver standings. But now we're going to focus in this battle. Ocon a little bit slow through the fast left-hander is a strong point that we've been in the entirety of this weekend. A little bit loosey-goosey, as you can see, for me and Ocon as well through the chicane, so he's pushing a lot like me, and I'm setting personal best. We set a personal best in the first sector, because I'm deploying everything that I can through the fast right-hander. The opportunities are running out. This is similar to the sprint race in F2, like it happened in Hungarian this year, where I think it was Callum Ilott pressurizing Kyoto in the last lap. But I'm doing everything that I can. Massive lockup into the penultimate goal. Leclerc wins the Grand Prix, setting personal best in the second sector, but unfortunately is not going to be enough to finish ahead of Esteban Ocon. But considering the state of our car and scoring points in a track that I don't like, I can consider this definitely a very positive weekend.
At the end of the race, we'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It's a performance to be proud of today from our Hungarian Grand Prix winners. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Oh man, I'm so tired. I pushed so hard, you don't have the idea. I was like inches away of getting a DNF. I was pushing, I think I extracted everything of this Tom Motorsport car. I gave it everything. and yeah, I made these 2 mistakes were vital, and that cost maybe cost us more points. But championship standings, it is P10 and Hamilton ahead of Bottas by just 9 points. So the battle is hot between the 2 Mercedes drivers. In the constructors is still P9 because it's just me carrying the flag at the moment. But I hope that Nick can deliver the results. But guys, that has been episode 13 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. A very dramatic finale in the last few laps, but yeah, it was a very fun race. I was expecting to be a very boring race with me at the back, but it wasn't the case. And I hope as well that you guys enjoy as I enjoyed as well. So I'll see you guys so brand new next time, but for now, it's goodbye.